to celebrate for SRH fans today. As we know, they have won the match against Delhi Capitals. They have won by 9 runs, and definitely they have broken their streak against like all the teams basically, because they have been losing every other match they were playing, or last 3 matches mein to kya hi kehne. But finally they have won it against Delhi Capitals by 9 runs, which was a big thing for them today, because last match में जब दिल्ली और सनराइजर्स हैदराबाद का आमना सामना हुआ था तब दिल्ली ने जीत हासिल करी थी, बट आज उन्होंने डिकोड किया और ये मैच जीता. I'm going to start off with Gauri today, since Gauri को इतना मौका मिल नहीं पाया to really cherish this. जब भी SRH की बात होती थी, she used to say, I don't know what to say, what to talk about it, but I really want you to go, girl, and just talk about SRH, whatever the way you want to, and just tell us how important it is for SRH.
Definitely. I mean, this win is big, very big for SRH, because not because, they have just won. I mean, they have won with 9 runs. I mean, it's not such a big margin or big, by a lot of it. But again, the victory was much needed. About anything, this victory was much needed. I mean, this victory is gonna definitely do a word of good for them. Because it's just not about victory. The victory gives you a sense of pride and joy. That is fine. But keeping aside all of it, it gives you your lost confidence in the game. You have been losing 3-4 games on the trot, and again, when you win, it is giving you a lot of confidence to you as a team, as a squad, and also to individual players who have performed on the day. So I think definitely a great day for SRH there. Abhishek Sharma just giving the right start for them right at the top. Then again, lower down the order, other players also chipping in. Henry Klassen also, giving his best. Then also he's Abhishek Sharma getting a wicket also. So quite a good day for him on individual level. But again, for SRH too, it's a great day with the team as a unit also.
Right, and if we talk about Delhi Capitals, we'll definitely going to talk about Delhi Capitals, but let's take a look at the match summary of this match. क्योंकि जिस तरीके से ये मुकाबला खेला गया, उस हिसाब से इस नंबर्स को देखना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि आफ्टर ऑल प्लेयर्स ने किस तरह के एफर्ट्स डाले हैं. सबसे पहले सनराइजर्स हैदराबाद बैटिंग करने उतरे थे, उन्होंने 197 रन्स बनाए, 6 विकेट्स गवाए. वही अभिषेक शर्मा ने एक शानदार पारी के लिए 67 रन्स उन्होंने ऐड किए. आफ्टरवर्ड्स हेनरी क्लासन 53 रन्स, और फिर मिचेल मार्श ने 4 विकेट लिए, इनकी भी तारीफ करनी होगी. अक्षर पटेल, उन्होंने 1 विकेट लिया दिल्ली के एंड से. फिर दिल्ली कैपिटल्स बैटिंग करने उतरे, 188 रन्स ही बना पाए. मिचेल मार्श ने जिसने 63 रन्स ऐड किए, और फिल सॉल्ट 59 रन्स उन्होंने ऐड किए. मयंक मार्कंडे ने जहां 2 विकेट लिए, और वहीं अभिषेक शर्मा ने 1 विकेट अपने नाम किया. ऑल सनराइजर्स हैदराबाद 9 रन से जीती. प्रत्यय, सबसे पहला क्वेश्चन मिचेल मार्श के बारे में पूछना चाहूंगी, सबसे पहला डिस्कशन में उनके बारे में चाहूंगी. द काइंड ऑफ प्लेयर ही इज, एंड आज उन्होंने शो अप किया है, 4 विकेट भी लिए, 63 रन्स भी लिए. अगर ये मैच जीतती आज दिल्ली तो डेफिनेटली वही होते आज के मैन ऑफ द मैच, बट मुझे लगता है अब डाइसी थोड़ा सा उनके लिए हो जाएगा, बिकॉज डेफिनेटली वो एक विनिंग कॉज में नहीं आए उनकी परफॉर्मेंस. बट आज वो कितना खुश होंगे कि टीम को जैसी जरूरत थी उन्होंने वैसा ला करके दिया है, और पूरी तरीके से अपने हर एक स्किल को यहाँ पर पेश किया है, और साबित किया है कि अगर आप चाहें जीतना मुकाबला, अगर आप चाहें अपना 100% देना, तो आपको कुछ ऐसे देना चाहिए जैसे आज मिचेल मार्श ने दिया है.
बिल्कुल, आई थिंक फॉर्म उनका थोड़ा सा ऊपर नीचे था, तो सिर्फ बैट से नहीं, बॉल से नहीं, दोनों तरीके से उन्होंने कंट्रीब्यूट कर दिया एक ही गेम में. और कैपेबिलिटी उनकी सभी को पता है, which is why it becomes even more disappointing when someone like him does not fire, because you know that he is in your side for both the roles, not just with the bat but with the ball as well. और अभी तक वो उनकी बॉलिंग, उनकी एंकल इंजरी थी, इंडिया ऑस्ट्रेलिया की सीरीज में वो उतनी ज्यादा बॉलिंग नहीं कर पाए, ऑन एंड ऑफ रहे हैं थोड़ा. लेकिन इस तरीके का जो उनका आज परफॉर्मेंस रहा है, डेफिनेटली एज यू सेड, अगर दिल्ली जीतती तो he was I mean, it was a no brainer, he would have been the player of the match, because 4 wickets, 1 maiden, economy was pretty good as well. Slightly went expensive in the last over that he bowled, otherwise it was a great spell as well. And with the bat, we know that he is capable of hitting the long ball, because he is an aggressive batter. And I think Delhi will be really disappointed with this loss, not because of course every loss is disappointing, but when you get yourself into a position जहाँ पे आपको लगने लगता है कि शायद ये मैच इज नाउ योर्स टू लूज, उस तरीके की पोजीशन से आज दिल्ली ने मैच को गवाया है. बिकॉज 112 for 1 once they lost David Warner cheaply in the very first over. That partnership was looking a match defining one between Phil Salt and Mitchell Marsh, and both of them were batting really well, really brilliantly, and these were two batters who haven't been in form. So both of them coming back to form in the same game, and we know they are both great strikers of the ball, because Salt is again an aggressive player. Marsh, we already know that he is someone who can do wonders with the bat. Both of them getting back into form at 112 run alliance, and then suddenly starting to lose their way. I think from 112 for 1 to 148 for 6. That's 36 for 5. You're losing too many wickets, and that is something that Delhi will have to perhaps find a solution to, because it's in the middle overs where they are losing, where they're actually losing the plot. And this was a much needed win because, of course, you have already lost five. You've begun your tournament with five losses on this on the bounce. So you cannot really do not have a lot of margin. So if you're looking qualification wise, if at all you are even thinking on those grounds, eight victories gives you a kind of a guaranteed spot. 16 points. We haven't really seen any team not qualifying despite that. Of course, it can come down to net run rate, specifically given the fact that IPL 10 teams का tournament हो चुका है. Now you have to win every single game that you are left with, because you've played it, you've left with six, and you've won only two. So you have to win every single game that you have to play, and that is not going to be easy. So I think Marsh would definitely be happy about his personal form, but disappointing result. But at least the happy part is that from the previous game, if you really compare this one, this was a much better game because both the sides fought well. 9 runs, the margin of victory is close, so it was a good game of cricket at least. And Sunrisers, of course, would be very happy because hat trick of losses, they go away and they kind of also avenge a loss because Delhi got back into Hyderabad, defeated them there. Now they go to Delhi and they defeat them there.
राइट इवन लास्ट मैच में मुझे याद है गौरी व्हेन वी वर डिस्कसिंग अबाउट द सेम लाइक कि ज्यादा एक्टिव नहीं लग रहे थे प्लेयर्स. इट वाज लाइक कि तुम जीत लो, नहीं मैं जीत लेता हूँ, अच्छा ठीक है तुम जीत लो, ऐसा चल रहा था. बट आज के मैच में वैसा कुछ था नहीं. दोनों टीम्स कोशिश कर रहे थे इस मुकाबले को जीतने की और अंत में सनराइजर्स हैदराबाद के हाथ लगी जीत. बट डेफिनेटली पूरी कोशिश दिल्ली के एंड से भी दिखाई दी. इट वाज नथिंग लाइक कि वो पासिंग द पार्सल है, दे वर रियली वर्किंग ऑन इट और वो वाकई चाह रहे थे उस मुकाबले को जीतना. बट अब मैं जानना चाहूंगी एसआरएच के लिए क्या चीज ज्यादा क्लिक करी है आज, मतलब उनकी बॉलिंग ज्यादा बेटर रही है या उनकी बैटिंग ज्यादा बेटर रही है जिसकी वजह से ये मुकाबला जीते हैं?
I mean, see, when you have won the toss, जब आप एक टॉस जीतते हैं तो आप डेफिनेटली चाहते हैं कि आप कोई ऐसा डिसीजन ले कि अल्टीमेटली जो रिजल्ट हो वो आपके फेवर में, बिकॉज विनिंग द टॉस gives you a slight edge. So then when you have won the toss and chosen to bat first, तो I think सबसे पहले बैटिंग के लिए उनके एक बड़ा स्कोर खड़ा करना और एक बड़ा टारगेट देना सबसे पहले that was of a primary focus for them. So I think they did that. सबसे पहले वो उस चीज को उन्होंने संभाला और उस चीज पे खड़े उतरे. तो आई थिंक जब एक 150 160 अराउंड का स्कोर इस पिच पे प्रेडिक्ट किया जा रहा था, वहां व्हेन दे आर गोइंग अबव 190 एंड पुटिंग सच अ बिग टारगेट, तो आई थिंक पहली चीज उन्होंने हासिल करी ली है. एंड डेफिनेटली व्हेन डीसी इज नॉट लूजिंग बाय बिग ऑफ अ मार्जिन, इट्स जस्ट 9 रन्स, तो आपको ये पता है कि दैट इट हैज बीन अ कॉम्पिटिटिव क्रिकेट. ऐसा नहीं है कि बस वो जीत गए वाला गेम था. तो आई थिंक बॉलर्स ने भी कहीं ना कहीं अपना पार्ट अच्छे से खेला. मयंक मार्कंडे अगेन has been the highest wicket taker for SRH, again 2 in his tally. So I think that is again a good thing for them. So I think batting, bowling, all round काफी दोनों तरफ से ही काफी अच्छा performance रहा. It's just about team clicking at the right moment and at the right day. So I think that has happened for SRH today.
Yeah, that's really great कि एसआरएच की टीम अभी फाइनली एक टीम की तरह खेलती दिखाई दी है और जिस तरीके से उन्होंने परफॉर्मेंस दिया है उसका आज उनको गिफ्ट मिला है, बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली आप अच्छा परफॉर्म करेंगे तो आप मुकाबला जरूर जीतेंगे. लेट्स टेक अ लुक एट टॉप परफॉर्मर्स ऑफ दिस मैच. फर्स्ट इनिंग्स और सेकंड इनिंग्स में कुछ टॉप परफॉर्मेंसेस देखने को मिले, जहां फर्स्ट इनिंग में हमने देखा अभिषेक शर्मा को 67 रन्स बनाते हुए, एक और यंगस्टर जिसने आज इंप्रेस किया. वहीं मिचेल मार्श ने 4 विकेट्स लिए 27 रन्स दे करके और 4 पूरे उन्होंने अपने ओवर्स खेले और बहुत ही कमाल का शानदार परफॉर्मेंस दिया. वहीं अगर हम सेकंड इनिंग्स की तरफ जाएं, अगेन मिचेल मार्श, ही हैज प्लेड फ्रॉम द बैट एज वेल एंड ही हैज शोड व्हाई ही इज मिचेल मार्श एंड डेफिनेटली डिजर्व करते हैं इस टीम में का हिस्सा होना, आईपीएल खेलना. 63 रन उन्होंने ऐड किए और मयंक मार्कंडे ने 2 विकेट लिए और इस तरह की कुछ परफॉर्मेंस रही है फर्स्ट और सेकंड इनिंग्स में. बट आई वुड लाइक टू आस्क प्रत्यय, जो हम लोग एक बार पहले भी बात कर रहे थे डीसी के मैच में कि देयर इज समथिंग रॉन्ग विद द ओपनिंग कॉम्बिनेशन. आज सॉल्ट ने तो खेला लेकिन डेविड वार्नर जल्दी आउट हो गए. पता नहीं, मुझे लगता है समहाउ साथ में नहीं खेल सकते ओपनर चाहे कुछ हो जाए. देयर इज समथिंग देयर फॉर डीसी. उनको कुछ करना चाहिए कि उनके ओपनर्स खेल सके. क्यों ऐसा हो रहा है कि एक बंदा तो जीरो पे आउट होता ही होता है, चाहे वो उनका इनफॉर्म बैटर हो या फिर कोई बैटर जो अच्छी खासी फॉर्म में अभी तक चल रहा था लेकिन यहाँ आकर के वो फ्लॉप हो जाएगा. व्हाई इज दिस हैपनिंग विद देम?
So you really can't put a finger on that because it's hard. I mean, you really can't say that why is it not working. If it has to click, it will. You saw what happened with KKR trying 5 combinations, nothing working, but then suddenly Roy comes up and delivers with Jagadish in the way he managed to perform in the previous game. I think it will click somewhere down the line. But I am not as disappointed because with the opening as much as I am with a few tactical decisions that I personally feel are going wrong. Because I cannot make sense of not promoting Akshar Patel when he is your informed batter. We have been discussing this time and again, and he is someone who has been in form not just in this tournament. He is carrying great form before that as well, because he was doing well in the Test series as well. Of course, we don't want to mix the formats, but we are talking about a cricketer who is doing well across formats. it is baffling for the simple reason that you are seeing your team is collapsing from 112 to 1 to 148 for 6, and you are preserving a batter who is a left-hander, and who are the ones who are picking the wickets? Mayank Markande, a leg spinner, Abhishek Sharma, a left armer, Akhil Hussain, another left armer, and you are not sending out Akshar Patel, a left-handed batter who is a favorable matchup. So what are you preventing him for, and why? And end of the day, when you look at the margin of loss, it's 2 strikes, a 6 and a 4, and you would have won the match. And the guy whom you kept on preserving scores what at a strike rate above 200, and that is when you are seeing the collapse unfurling right in front of your eyes. So if this is something which we can understand sitting here, not having played the game, then to understand why is it something that perhaps a David Warner or a Ricky Ponting or a Saurav Ganguly is not thinking is totally beyond me, because you have to promote Akshar Patel. He is perhaps the second best batter in the tournament after David Warner, and David Warner is a designated batter, an opener, a captain. Akshar Patel is a batting all-rounder or perhaps a bowling all-rounder. So first of all, if your second highest scorer is Akshar Patel, you already know that of course the season hasn't going good. And you can already see that on the points table as well. You're languishing at the bottom with 6 losses now. Despite that, you are making the changes. You sent Sarfaraz Khan ahead of him, who hasn't been in the best of forms. In the previous game, you sent Aman Khan ahead of him. With again, no disrespect, he hasn't done anything to be promoted ahead of Akshar Patel. And today you are sending a Priyam Garg ahead of him, who hasn't even played a game in the IPL. But you are not sending Akshar Patel, who could have done a lot better. So I think you see in T20 cricket, every time we talk, we say आपके सबसे अच्छे बैटर्स को या आपके इनफॉर्म बैटर्स को आप जितनी ज्यादा बॉल्स देंगे, जितना ज्यादा समय उनको बिताने देंगे मिडिल में, उतना ज्यादा आपका फायदा होगा, क्योंकि they are the ones who are in form, they can capitalize. If you are sending people out who are eating up deliveries, who are not in the best of forms, they are not going to win you matches. So the moment 2 wickets had been lost, the moment you slipped down from 112 to 125 for 3, that is immediately when you should have promoted Akshar Patel. That okay, fine, now go. It's a left-hand, right-hand combination as well, because all others in the lineup apart from Warner and Akshar are right-handers. You can perhaps, because left-hand, right-hand always kind of unsettles the bowlers as well. There are 3 spinners who are running riot. You are left-hander. All of them are either is a leg spinner or is a left-hander. You have a favorable matchup. Go and tong the ball. If you get out anyway, we are losing the match. But if you do something, we might as well end up winning. But game after game, they keep on preventing him. And by the time he comes, there is so much left. I mean, despite the great start, that was a brilliant partnership between Salt and Marsh. But then you lose wickets in clusters. That is never going to help your case, no matter what target you're chasing. If you lose 5 wickets for 36, 35 runs, you are not going to put yourself into a winning position, definitely. So I personally cannot make sense of that. Opening combination, yes, it has been talked about a lot, but I am absolutely bemused. Why is anyone not pointing out that why are you not sending someone who has got the caliber, who is delivering? And it isn't that he is not performing. Every single game when he has been sent, he has been delivering great cameos. He's striking nearly close to 150 in the tournament, averaging close in higher 30s or 40s. It might have changed after this game. And despite that, you are not sending him. So I think I cannot personally fathom the stubbornness of keeping your batting order intact, because you would perhaps think that okay, Priyam Garg is a designated batter, तो हम ऑलराउंडर को पहले नहीं भेजेंगे, हम designated batter को पहले भेजेंगे. But you have to play at times as per the situation. If the match is demanding you to send an all-rounder, do send him. There is no harm, because you end of the day you want to win the match. You don't want to just tick the boxes that you perhaps had before the match. So there has to be shown some flexibility, which is really disappointing to see from someone as experienced as the think tank of Delhi is. That personally is something that I cannot make sense of. Hopefully they would change that going forward. 6 games still left. It's all looking over, but you never know. We have seen strange things happening. So if they can change these things, you never know, it might work.
Right. Even we have seen Ravichandran Ashwin opening the innings for RR, like जब उनको लगा कि they should go for an experiment. So there is no such thinking. Like IPL वैसे भी कोई orthodox format नहीं है. It's a new format. It's a T20 format. This is something where you can really experiment a lot. Like अगर आपको लगता है कि ये सही बैठेगा, then you should go for it. And for Delhi Capitals, as you rightly mentioned, कि ये मैंने भी सुना है, इवन कई कोचेस भी बात कर रहे हैं, T20 फॉर्मेट का बहुत ही सिंपल तरीका है, अपने बेस्ट बैटर्स को सबसे ज्यादा ओवर्स खिलाएं, सबसे ज्यादा बॉल्स खिलाएं, तभी आप मैचेस जीतेंगे. एंड राइट नाउ डिस्पाइट हैविंग अ लॉट ऑफ गुड नेम्स इन योर 11 already, Akshar Patel is doing great for you. He's doing wonders for you. So you better be giving him more chances to play in the middle rather than any other player who's a designated batter. So definitely Delhi Capitals should think about it, क्योंकि अभी नहीं सोचेंगे तो कब सोचेंगे? पूरा सीजन निकल जाएगा और ऑलरेडी बहुत मैचेस उनके हाथ से निकल चुके हैं. They really need to figure this out. But with that, let's take a look at points table of this season, because right now इस मुकाबले के बाद ज्यादा चीजें बदली तो नहीं है, बस जो बदला है वो है SRH का पोजीशन आज का इस मुकाबला जीतने के बाद नंबर 7 पर आ चुके हैं. इफ वी गो फ्रॉम द वेरी बिगिनिंग, लाइक जीटी ऑन टॉप, आफ्टरवर्ड्स राजस्थान रॉयल्स, देन लखनऊ सुपर जायंट्स, उसके बाद में चेन्नई सुपर किंग्स, आरसीबी, पंजाब किंग्स, कोलकाता नाइट राइडर्स, सनराइजर्स हैदराबाद, Mumbai Indians or Delhi Capitals as it is intact in the very last position of points table. But definitely अगर वो कुछ figure out करेंगे जो उनकी problems हैं, तो उसका solution जरूर मिलेगा, because ultimately discussion से ही सब कुछ होता है. So I would like to say this, like आज match चल रहा था गौरी, DC versus SRH, दिल्ली का स्टेडियम था, like there was nothing to go with MS Dhoni today, right? But still Chennai fans somehow they have found the time to put on their yellow jersey and to go to the stadium and cheer MS Dhoni. I don't know for what reason. Dhoni was not even there. And they were like cheering Dhoni, Dhoni, and they all were in yellow. Some groups were there. पता नहीं ये कहाँ हो रहा है, मैं क्यों नहीं हूँ ऐसे ग्रुप्स का पार्ट, कोई मुझे क्यों नहीं बता रहा है कि ऐसा कुछ भी करना है. बट दे ऑल आर सो क्रेजी ओवर MS Dhoni, whether he is playing or not, they are definitely just going in yellow jersey and they are gonna support at all. Now I've got some comment as well. Let's show it up once again. Ask CricTracker, according to you guys, 4 playoff teams. एक क्वेश्चन आया है गौरी, पहले भी पूछा जा चुका है ये सवाल, लेकिन जानना चाहेंगे अब इस सिनेरियो में जैसे ऐसे IPL बिजनेस एंड की तरफ बढ़ रहा है, आपकी टॉप 4 टीम्स.
I think keeping whatever the form the teams have been carrying so far in the tournament, I think LSG, GT, CSK, and RR, of course, they are in the top 4. But again, if you go by the form also, definitely these are the 4 teams who should be in the 4. Again, if another competitive team that I see maybe making to the top 4 will be RCB.
Huge statement. Pratyay.
Yeah.
I think RCB is difficult for the only reason I would have gone with the same choices, because more or less the table has started to kind of pick its shape. Gujarat Titans doing wonderfully well, like they are looking like the defending champions. Chennai Super Kings, MS Dhoni just doing his thing, the magic of the man we already know. LSG, yes, it's a very impressive side, but it's a slightly inconsistent side which can do something really outrageous. I mean, you see them not being able to chase 136 on one day, suddenly they come the next day and bang the second highest total of IPL. So it is doing a little bit of Pakistan things there. So that is a little bit of a something which can go a little bit topsy turvy. And I think RR, of course, in the last couple of years, even last year runners up, in the last 1 year or so, they have really become a very impressive side. The kind of players they have: Josh Butler, Yuzvendra Chahal, Sanju Samson, the likes, the young players who have come, they have delivered as well. You're seeing a Dhruv Jurel in the making this year. Last year as well, Shimran Hetmaya, he has been in form in the last couple of seasons as well. So it's another very well-rounded, balanced attack. Yashasvi Jaiswal has been hitting the straps beautifully. So yes, these 4 are more or less looking like the teams, but a couple of teams which might have an outside chance of very much into contention at the moment. We don't really need to even say an outside chance are Punjab Kings, because again they are one of those inconsistent sides which can actually pull a rabbit out of your hat suddenly. You don't expect them to do things and they do, and they're looking like that this season. And RCB, I would have definitely said it, but the only reservation I have about RCB is that they have not been able to capitalize on their home games. They lost 3 or 4 of their home games, which I think is a huge disadvantage. And now they are going to be on the road for the next 4 or 5 games. They're constantly traveling. So one thing that it does is that you have to go to away conditions, which are slightly skewed in favor of the opposition, because they are playing in front of the home crowd. The pitch has been made in their favor, of course, keeping in mind their favorable aspects, and the constant travel, because every single game after that you have to fly to Chennai, you have to suddenly go to Rajasthan, then you play in Bangalore, then you play somewhere else. So that takes a lot of time. It does not allow you to just kind of settle down as much. RCB could have, had they won another couple of games maybe at home, they would have started to look a lot better. So I think RCB they have a chance. But the next 4-5 games being scheduled away is a bit of a reservation for me. Otherwise, they are definitely one of the contenders. So yes, if you have to put it that way, you will basically see a spot fight for the fourth spot between maybe say an RCB or LSG. CSK, GT, and RR are looking very, very formidable. DC and SRH, I really doubt would they. I mean, if they end up qualifying from here, we are in for one of the stories of the IPL. But otherwise, I don't think that I personally don't see them qualifying from this position. So yes, five teams for the top four spots.
Right. And in my point of view, since MI is not going to end up in playoff if, then IPL has already ended for me. So thank you so much for asking me the four my playoffs. If it is not MI, no other team for me, for sure. But interestingly, आज के मैच में, like if we were saying कि मिचेल मार्श अगर आज विनिंग कॉज में इनकी इनिंग्स ही आती और उन्होंने विकेट्स लिए होते तो वो प्लेयर ऑफ द मैच होते. बट मुझे लगता है कि आज के मुकाबले को लेकर के मिचेल मार्श की इनिंग्स को लेकर के सब इतने इंप्रेस थे कि ये डिसीजन लिया गया है कि वो भले ही लूजिंग कॉज में क्यों ना हो, पर प्लेयर ऑफ द मैच आज के हैं मिचेल मार्श. 63 runs he has scored, 4 wickets he has taken, और मुझे लगता है कि it is moreover why Mitchell Marsh is today's player of the match. It is because कि इनके लेवल का परफॉर्मेंस SRH के एंड से आया ही नहीं. That's why ये पूरी तरीके से डिजर्व करते थे आज के प्लेयर ऑफ द मैच बनना, और काफी खुश होंगे. हालांकि उन्होंने अपनी स्टेटमेंट में बोला है कि he is disappointed because he couldn't win it for DC, but अपनी परफॉर्मेंस से खुश है. इंडिविजुअली he has come in form right on time when it was required the most, और उन्होंने करके दिखा. और मुझे लगता है इनकी इनिंग्स की वजह से जो 9 रन्स का डिफरेंस है, ये इतना कम डिफरेंस बचा, वरना अगर ये भी नहीं होता तो शायद डीसी की हालत और खराब हो सकती थी. बट थैंकफुली ऐसा नहीं हुआ, और मिचेल मार्श की इनिंग्स ने उनको प्लेयर ऑफ द मैच भी बनाया और डीसी को थोड़ा स्ट्रॉन्ग पोजीशन पे खड़ा किया इन फ्रंट ऑफ एसआरएच. बट लेट्स टेक अ लुक एट अ सोशल ट्रैकर ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर मैच. People must be discussing a lot of things because there are a lot of things to discuss. Let's take a look at the first tweet of social tracker from this match, DC versus SRH. Mitchell Marsh has been hurting SRH since 2020 and he was with SRH before that. Afterwards इन्होंने पुल आउट किया था सीजन से, और उसके बाद हम आज के मैच में देख सकते हैं 63 रन्स की उन्होंने पारी के लिए अगेंस्ट SRH. कुछ तो है पर्सनल वेंडेटा जो हमें पता नहीं है, बट हम फिगर आउट करके जरूर बताएंगे कि व्हाट इज बिटवीन मिचेल मार्श एंड SRH. अभी तक तो सिर्फ डेविड वार्नर और SRH चल रहा था, अब ये दूसरा भी है, but we'll definitely figure this out. DC management has failed to use Akshar Patel's batting prowess in IPL 2023. और जैसे कि अभी मैं और प्रत्यय और गौरी डिस्कस कर ही रहे थे कि अक्षर पटेल को डेफिनेटली ज्यादा मौके मिलना चाहिए, उनको प्रमोट करना चाहिए, बट दे couldn't do it and that's why अक्षर पटेल अपनी इनिंग्स के बावजूद डीसी को जिता नहीं पा रहे हैं. Harry Brook without that 100 in IPL and that is Rayan Parag. People are really memeing him here, और Harry Brook के अलावा ये Rayan Parag के ऊपर भी एक मीम है, बट लोग अभी फिलहाल उसको ऐसे ही काउंट कर रहे हैं because the way he has celebrated जब उन्होंने सेंचुरी स्कोर करी थी और उसके बाद then he couldn't do it again for the team. Now another tweet comes on Harry Brook again. There is no doubt that Harry Brook is talented, but his behavior after scoring a century in the IPL made it seem like no one had scored a century in IPL before him. You need to be polite, otherwise the IPL is not an easy tournament. Here the big players warm bench. So yeah, you should know like how to really calm अपना collect करके रख पाना. It's really difficult. Mitchell Marsh only the fifth to score 50 plus and take 4 wickets in an IPL, और ये आपके सामने स्टैट्स हैं. जिस तरह से खिलाड़ियों ने अभी तक 50 प्लस स्कोर भी किया है सेम मैच में और 4 विकेट्स भी लिए हैं. सो इट इज वन ऑफ अ रेयर फीट जो कि आज मिचेल मार्श ने करके दिखाया है और प्रूव किया है कि अगर वो अपने टैलेंट और अपने स्किल सेट के अनुसार खेलना शुरू कर दे, देन ही इज गोइंग टू बी लीथल फॉर एनी टीम, और उनको फिर फेस करना किसी भी टीम के लिए डिफिकल्ट होगा. बट थैंक यू सो मच प्रत्यय एंड गौरी फॉर ज्वाइनिंग मी इन दिस डिस्कशन. हम लोग कल फिर से मिलेंगे और बात करेंगे क्रिकेट के बारे में. कल भी डबल हेडर है, बहुत सारा क्रिकेट होगा, बहुत सारा डिस्कशन होगा. आप बने रहिए क्रिक ट्रैकर के साथ और देखते रहिए इन द एयर शो.